I'm delighted to introduce, as you will have seen, Holly Porter, but with a new job title. I'm Managing Director of the Institute, and hopefully we'll get the screen share right this time. Over to you, Holly. Welcome.
Hi everyone, on this very chilly morning. I know not everybody's in the UK, but it's certainly freezing where I am. Thanks for the warm welcome, John. I'm really delighted to be taking on the role of Managing Director for Institute. It feels very familiar, all the things I've been worried about since I joined just over 3 years ago. A really great team in place to support me. So very happy. Let's see if I can do the sharing now. I thought, can you see that?
We can.
Excellent. Right, good, we're sorted. So my job is just this morning is just to kind of recap on the strategic focus and then talk about the membership program and how it's going, what we've been doing over the past quarter, and then excitingly some of the things coming up. And I certainly feel that the Christmas holiday break is a distant memory now. There's so much happening, which is all good. So I will take you through this and then we'll have some time. John will manage questions at the end. So without further ado, just go on to the next one. We've talked about the BCS strategy, which is this is all about how we deliver on our purpose, which is making IT good for society. And the strategy has remained constant. So the front and centre is the membership piece, and this is about our community of IT and digital professionals, but also our member groups community and the experience that we create to support people who are within our membership, and also to think about how we collectively are shaping our digital future. And there's a real theme around professionalism here that's vital to the membership proposition. And all of the other aspects in terms of the inspiration, progression and influence are core ingredients of that kind of approach to market, if you like. But the inspiration part of our strategy talks about computing education. We've got a world-leading reputation in computing education, and it's influencing that programme in all of its forms, but also nurturing the pipeline of talent that's coming into the profession. And we want all of those people to be members, and we want to increasingly join up to those routes. And then in terms of progression, this is around our learning and development products and around how people can punctuate their careers with the right learning interventions and really achieve that lifelong learning mentality that we're looking for as professionals. And then the influence pillar is all around our face out and the issues that we talk about, and our commentary on the societal factors around making IT good for society. And I'm going to say a little bit more about influence now, because what we've had over the past 3 years is a much clearer focus, because I think you'll all appreciate there's so much happening out in digital and technology, and we could be talking about everything, but we've focused our efforts around 4 key themes. The first being professionalism. And, you know, the mantra here really is that our digital lives should be in the hands of competent, ethical and accountable and inclusive professionals. The second area, diversity and inclusion, and it's been really, really pleasing to see the growth of the member groups community to really embrace these areas. And so this is all about greater diversity and inclusion in the profession benefits society. And digital divide, which really came into sharp focus over the past couple of years with the pandemic, is all around inclusion and you know, making sure that nobody is excluded and everybody can participate in technology. And net zero, it's about our contribution to achieving net zero and the impact that technology is making on that, and our role in supporting those objectives. So that's not to say that we don't keep an eye on things like, you know, AI regulation, which is, you know, really a hot topic at the moment. So that would all sort of sit under the banner of professionalism as far as we're concerned. So there's lots of scope and flexibility within these policy areas, but it's really good to have focus. And the great thing is that there are more and more of our member groups. And so you probably on the call are being involved in some of these issues and helping to shape our positions, and even speak on panels and speak to the media in some cases as well. So Alistair has talked about Rashik coming in as CEO and his vision for the organisation. And, you know, he certainly found that we've got a great space to build on, but he wanted to bring more clarity. So in terms of the senior team that he's mentioned, I'm going to sort of talk a little bit now about what the different parts of the groups are here for. So overall, we're looking at a collaborative and financially viable group of entities. So there are three components of the group. The first one being the Institute, and this is all about being commercially sustainable in terms of our membership. I often smile when the learning and development business gets described as our commercial arm, and it is. But, you know, I like to think that we're all commercial. We all want to, none of us wants to make a loss. In fact, we want to make money so that we can reinvest it in, you know, in the membership program and in the things that are important to us. So I'm certainly here to look at the Institute's program to make sure that it does that. And also, you know, the goal around this is to think about competent, accountable, ethical and inclusive digital professionals. And that definition of digital professional is extending all the time, as we know, into new areas of technology. So we want to sort of put our arms around as many of those as possible. And so we're here for both organisations and individuals, but really this sort of institute and the professional body sits at the heart of delivering on our purpose. So L&D is the goal is to be profitable and to deliver on this this lifelong learning mindset, and to create leading edge learning and assessment for digital society, and that's led by Lucy. And the education and public benefit area under Julia as MD is around we're dialing up the learner to society piece. So she's really keen to get to grips with that, because in some senses that has been a little bit lost. But there's a huge piece of work to do around education. And so this is all around the pipeline of talent before it comes into the workforce, and then it hands off to the Institute once people enter the workforce. So I think that's the way of describing it. And some of you may have seen that we've recently launched our new charitable entity called My Digital Future, which some of our branches and groups are involved with. We'll be hearing a lot more about this in due course from Julia, but that's another string to our bow now in this education and public benefit area, along with all of the funded programs that we're already doing, and there's some exciting developments there. So that's a little bit more of a feel for what we're here for and which parts of the business are responsible for that, for what. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how membership is going. I think last time I spoke to you, we were developing our plans for the year, so very busy time as ever. So we've got 9 objectives and a raft of KPIs. So our revenue goals add up to around 6.5 million across individuals and organisations. We had a goal to get to 66,000 total members by the end of the financial year, which would be August. We had a very pleasing sort of end to the last financial year in terms of our volumes. But in order to kind of keep this up, there's a need to keep an eye on the retention figures. So we've got a higher retention target this year, and also quite a chunky new member target to go with it. But the objectives all relate to just making sure that there's that real visibility and buy-in to membership as an important concept across the 3 entities of the group, to make sure all of that's working together. CPD is something that Ben Turner is going to talk about this evening. That is a vital piece of value that sits across both the Institute and L&D. So L&D may have some commercial aspects to that, but the Institute programme is all around creating that CPD experience for members, and you know, got some really good plans to build that out. Linking new routes into the profession so that we can make sure that as the market changes, you know, we can make sure that we link and bring people and give them a soft landing into the profession. And then fellowship and chartered IT professional, both really important. I mean, not just CITP, actually the chartered proposition as a whole. You know, this is so certainly an internal aspiration of mine is to really sort of build out that professional status, and also to drive the advocacy, and we can do that through fellowship. So we've relaunched the fellowship programme and criteria. We've got a great committee that's spearheading that now within Community Board. And, you know, for us, it's sort of higher value, higher retention. We know that those grades stay with us for longer. And we know that in terms of the sort of financial contribution as well, just being very transparent here, it's an important part of the mix to start to offset the trend around the early careers entry. And you'll see what I mean in a minute when I get to the revenue charts. Organisations has been a much stronger part of our mix. We ended the last financial year with organisations, the members who joined us within organisational schemes being around 30% of our total. So we have an ambition to grow that again this year. And we've recently appointed Julie Bailey as Corporate Engagement Director. She took over from Oliver Humey. So she's very experienced. She's been with us and she's been our head of health and care. So she stepped up to lead that team, and we've got some really strong relationships that are forming, and some couple of really large new clients that are just coming in the last month. So I can talk a bit about about that. The BCS product links, so those are where we have products within things like apprenticeships, where we are the endpoint assessment organisation, or T-levels, where we're doing some work for the Gatsby Foundation. In all of these cases, we want to optimise the links into membership, and so there's a real objective around that. Adding member value, we'll come on to some of the initiatives shortly that are all doing that, and also increasing engagement and participation, and then making sure that the customer experience is what it needs to be. So we're easy to join, and it's easy for everybody to join in as well. I think increasingly we're all aware of the 4 pillars and the alignment that's the great opportunity within our member groups community. So we want to continue with that. And we also want to think about maybe some new areas of growth within membership. And we've talked about things like, you know, really focusing on IT interims and contractors as a subgroup. So we're looking at a few options there just to make sure that we can keep stretching that target. Right, if we go on to the next slide. So this is the volume slide. I love this chart for obvious reasons. So we've had quite a sticky patch as in terms of our membership numbers, exacerbated by the pandemic. We needed to do quite a lot of work to think about where the new growth can come from and how we can sort of right the membership. So I'm really pleased to say that, you know, we've been on a growth path. I know it's fragile. You know, we're in a situation where there's a cost of living crisis. We're seeing it here. We've certainly had quite a challenging situation out in Sri Lanka for quite some time, and all of that can impact on the renewal of subscriptions. So, you know, we're definitely not out of the woods, but we are at 66,000 members already. And you'll remember that that's our annual target. So it's a great achievement by the team. We've had some real success at the student and early careers stage, both in terms of working more closely with universities around academic membership format. So there's a group format for universities where they can bring student cohorts in as well. So that added around 6,000 members last year. And also the DFE funded digital skills boot camps, which we've got around 2,500 new members in through that route as well. So that's at the sort of lower price point area of our membership. So that explains the kind of revenue mix challenge that we just have to keep an eye on. The other piece is around retention, and just to explain what's on the screen here, we're tracking it. This is one of our reports that the BI reports that the team puts together. We have a renewal window that you'll be aware of. So there's a 4-month lapse period once the annual subscription comes to an end. So that means that now we're looking back at people whose membership would have ended in September and just hoping that they've got the last chance to renew before they lapse. So where it starts to tail down in January, you'll see that this month we've still got a couple of weeks to go. There's actually a large volume of people, of members who have renewals in that month, and there's a nice pleasing green chunk at the bottom, but still quite a big red chunk. So we need to sort of make sure that those people are going to renew. And our onboarding process now is digital, so people get welcome packs, they get a mid-year prompt, they get opportunities to sign up to all of our newsletters and to remain engaged. But in terms of the renewal comms, those start 4 months before people are due before the year's up, and then it continues into that lapsing period. So we're at 71%, slightly lower than the 73% KPI at the moment, but keeping an eye on it. In terms of the revenue, I don't normally share this with you, but I'm just, for transparency, showing you that we're tracking it. We look at individual membership, so IM, and organisational membership, OM, both on a month-on-month basis and a sort of overall year. And you can see that we're around 7% behind year to date at the moment. So this is a little bit of phasing around organisational memberships deals coming in. And it's also certainly around the academic membership, the universities who we signed up last year. Some of them have just taken a little bit of time to give us the new student cohorts and to re-sign the paperwork. So we're not worried about it, but it's been a slower start this period. And also, I would say on the IM revenue, the individual revenue, we're not where we need to be on fellowship at the moment. We've got a lot of interest in that. We've got a few headwinds in just making sure that we can manage people through the new process. So again, that impacts on that revenue line for individual membership, but not disastrous by any stretch, but just to reassure you all that we're tracking it closely. So what's gone well? I've probably told you a lot of this already. We've got the team out today at a launch event with KPMG. So we brought KPMG in as a big new client, which is fantastic. Really strong commitment there from their champion and their CIO. And we've got regional launches over the next week in 4 locations with them, and with an ambition to bring in quite a large number of members. And that's all around the commitment to retaining talent in what is quite a challenging market for acquisition of talent with certain skill sets. We've got great opportunities to grow our footprint in the forces and to work more strategically with the MOD. And so there's lots going on there at the moment. We've got 2 new partners who are training providers that are delivering the digital skills bootcamps that have come on board since the beginning of the year. And we're starting to see the first T-level student members join through that link that we've got with our L&D business. We, as part of membership changes, we went out with an offer for existing MBCS members to see if they wanted to take the opportunity to come into CITP. We've had 150 applications already since November on that one. And we've got a really strong volunteer led focus now on fellowship and on the employers piece through those 2 groups in Community Board. Challenges, revenue mix, just phasing on academic membership, generally around registrations, both in terms of acquisition and retention. We need to do a lot more there, and that's in the plan, and also just some economic headwinds that we'll be aware of. So all in all, a strong picture with a few things that we need to watch out for. But in terms of some specifics on what we've done, I've mentioned the changes to our membership criteria. So this was all around open membership, our professional membership, to make it more inclusive and to include some of the groups, as the digital profession extends, and make membership more about participation and supporting people to develop. And separating out that track from professional registrations to encourage everybody to look at those as an aspiration in terms of chartered. And then also the fellowship criteria remains at 5 years and a leadership requirement, but the criteria are just a little bit broader to enable lots of different types of people from different roles to participate in that. So the criteria changes were all finished in November. We've got the CITP offer that's rolling now, and I'm pleased to say that we haven't had too much noise around the membership criteria changes. The new people are just coming in, and we've done quite a lot of communications around this. Had a couple of niggles, and I've responded to quite a few emails personally, but broadly, considering the amount of people that were communicated with, I think the sentiment's been really positive around that as being a good thing, the right thing, and the right direction of travel for us to be looking at. We've been consciously trying to get out and about more in terms of maximising the BCS brand. So you'll see the picture on the bottom left is the IT Awards. We had lots of our organisational member clients entering those awards as well, so that's a really good way of celebrating that. We've had launches with student chapters that we've supported. We've been on the stage at the health and care events, chairing panels, so that was Julie on the stage there. We've had events to focus specifically on the link between, you know, academia and the workplace. So we ran an academic membership focused event in the Gherkin for academic membership clients, and you know, our organisational membership team are out and about doing launches with clients now, sort of back out. They're all really pleased to get out from behind the screens, and also at I think we did 3 different external events and exhibitions where we had a presence in the first 3 months of the year. So that visibility is really important for us, and is certainly a continuing theme. Then one of the things coming up is the Policy Jam on the 15th of February. You'll hopefully recognise that the policy team is working really hard to engage our members in some of the policy issues and give people the opportunity to input and to comment and hear from experts. So our next one is all around chat GPT and the opportunities there, and AI and the considerations relating to that. So I should probably put the link in the chat afterwards, but there's definite, so that's open for bookings, and it's on the 15th of February around lunchtime. We have an event coming up where we always launch our IT leaders report that we do every year in terms of what's keeping the CIO community awake at night. So this is happening as a hybrid event on the 23rd of February for organisations. And it's focusing all around that digital talent landscape, which is quite tricky at the moment. And we're looking at the large companies, the small companies, and you know, the talent themselves in terms of how they're making those decisions, and also what skills are required. So we've got really strong participation from our organisational members, and you know, the sign-ups are going well already. We also have another member-only CPD event. Now, if you haven't been part of one of these, I'd really encourage you to look at them. So this is, I think we're on our 6th one now. So they're quarterly, and it's a collaborative effort between membership team and our L&D team. And with the essence is that we bring an immersive experience around a topic in the form of a webinar, and then there's a toolkit and some sort of exam-like questions that you can do and get digital badges at the end. So there was one on Agile in November that I went to, which got my digital badge. I was very proud. And this one is all around data. So it's for people who are quite new to the concept of managing data in a business or new to industry, but it's an opportunity to understand what sort of considerations you need to have around data and how to really sort of maximise that within your organisation. So that is on the 24th of February. I think that's going to be going up on Eventbrite in the next week, so we will get that out to you, and it will be in the member newsletter. And we are also, if you think back to that slide with the 3 hexagons and the 3 parts of the business, there's definitely feeling that, you know, we want to join up the dots, and we are stronger as the sum of our parts. So if you look at what we're doing across BCS, there's some fantastic work that we're doing. And so we're joining it together in terms of a digital skills network so that we can involve employers, our member groups community, our training providers who we work with in the L&D team, and also policy formers. And we're looking at doing this regionally. So there was one of these digital skills networks in Manchester in November. The next one is in Scotland in March. And this is a real opportunity to sort of focus on the region and the issues that are pertinent to that region, and to get connect the relevant stakeholders. And what we're hoping is that will create a stronger legacy for us, so that we continue the dialogue on those issues in that region and strengthen our presence generally. And then in terms of visibility, the other piece is around directly targeting different people to come into our membership. And so the marketing team in my area are looking at campaigns both for individuals and organisations. So just to let you know what we're doing, so this one you might recognise is based on Tetris. And it's all about how BCS can support businesses to solve their key issues. So you can see careers, change, skills, tech, talent. Those are all the sort of things that are top of mind. And so this is going out on LinkedIn, but we've also got a takeover on the CIO magazine website and some editorial to go with it. So this is all about building that pipeline of organisations and having better and stronger conversations. And then finally, on the individual front, I've talked before about how we look at segmenting our membership in terms of, different reasons why people join at different career stages. And so we have a couple of personas. One is around new to industry, people who are new to industry, and another one around people who are sort of climbing the ladder and really interested and focused on learning and acquiring knowledge. So that's one is called Learning to Progress. So this marketing campaign is focusing on those two personas, and it's mainly going out on social media, which is more cost effective, and we can be quite targeted in looking at the profiles of people who fit that profile, and then leading them into BCS via a landing page, and then nurturing them into membership slowly through emails, positioning things that are relevant to them. So we're sort of switching that back on now that we've done the membership criteria changes. And both the organisational one and the individual one will be running from January. And so the final slide really is just to reassure you that we're constantly looking to think about, how can we drive growth, and also more importantly, how can we deliver value to members? This is a labour of love. It's not a quick fix. There's something we can always build up. But there's a lot on the list. Ben is going to talk to you about CPZ, so I won't. But we've got a lot more that we want to do with our fellows in terms of building that advocacy and participation. We've got, we want to take the mentoring platform to the next level, because we're getting quite good participation on there, but we want the functionality to be a bit easier so that we can target different groups. Our personal development plan tool is due for an upgrade. That should be within the next month. You'll hear about that. And then also we're bringing in flexibility of payment. So we're going to enable people to spread the payments over different months rather than pay subscriptions all in one go. We're looking more at packaging things for organisations, and also continuing to build out those membership pathways from our BCS products, and it shouldn't be last, because it's the most important thing on my list, is professional registrations and our strategy around chartered, and really sort of looking at that demand generation that Alistair talked about on his chart. So that's a whistle-stop feel for some of the things that we've just done, where we are with our membership, and also what's coming up soon. So hopefully there's lots of food for thought there, and you'll feel reassured, that we're busy trying to build out that value for you, and I'm sure there'll be questions later. So that's me. I will stop. Thank you.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Holly. Lots of food for thought, and it's already kind of stimulated lots of ideas on how we might be able to support things like retention, or be able to support growth in membership through the community. So thank you very much indeed.